Welcome back to This Week in Agribusiness. This past week, of course, was Husker Harvest Days, and Max had a chance to make his way around doing more than just looking at the equipment on display. He had a chance to catch up with a few of the folks who were there in person.
As you know, Mike, it's more than just exhibits to take a look at any show such as Husker Harvest Days. There are those informational and educational presentations. And sometimes big-name market analysts come in to share their thoughts, too. We visited with Richard Brock of Brock Hhd Associates, and I asked him about the big picture right now, not just looking at this soon-to-be harvested crop of corn or soybeans, what may be coming into the bin this fall, but give us an overview of what he sees that could be moving the markets.
Well, Max, I think there's an awful lot to be optimistic about, and I think there's a reason why farmland values are going into all-time new highs right now. There's a lot of cash out there. Farmers have been profitable, and even though we're well off of our highs in the corn and soybean prices right now, everybody's still very profitable at these levels, and yields are going to be pretty good for the most part, and so that's optimistic. But I think the more optimistic side of it is the worldwide protein demand. China came back in strong buyer of corn last year. They're going to be a good buyer this year, not as strong as last year. But I think now that they've rebuilt their hog herd, they need corn, and they can't produce enough of it. And so we're developing more markets worldwide. And I said the only risk I see there right now, and I think it's something we should all be concerned about, is we will see some probably significant increases in soybean and corn acres in South America, and we could see some increases in corn acres in the Ukraine. But I think the world market can handle that pretty well, because you look at the long-term picture. Our worldwide carryover supplies of corn and soybeans are not large. They're not as tight as what some people had been forecasting, but they're very manageable levels. And so if we have any production problems this coming spring with the demand that we have worldwide, I think this market's going to stay strong. And with the near-term problem has been, of course, the Hurricane Ida and the closing of the port in New Orleans. And that resulted, of course, 2 weeks ago in a collapse in the basis throughout the Midwest and all the way down to the Gulf. And as a result of that, we think farmers are going to become very tight holders of grain at harvest time, and they're going to be using grain bins like that one sitting behind me right now. And I think, companies like Brock Manufacturing will benefit because farmers are going to need storage this year. And since they're sitting on a lot of cash, they don't need as much cash as normal this time of year. We think the basis will come back, and I think it's going to be a pretty optimistic year as we move forward.
Richard Brock, Brock Hhd Associates, never at a shortage for words, Mike, as you know. So factor that in with all of the other input and advice you've been getting from market analysts, advisors, and economists.
Thank you, Max. There is a lot going on for market analysts to keep their eyes on this year, and it sounds like the volatility is going to continue.